Customization means
Create as per our
requirement, right? We have custom requirements and go as per that, right? So now, as we understand that, as we have seen that Salesforce has 3 layers. We have a user interface, we have the database at the back end, and we have the controlling logics. Okay. So when we talk about customization is also applicable on all 3 layers. Okay. So this also has to be applicable on all 3 layers. Can I have the microphones muted? Yeah. Thank you. So our customization is also applicable on all 3 layers. For that, so first of all, database customization. So first of all, we talk about database. So in database, we just have objects and fields, right? We do not have anything apart from objects and fields. In objects, you have 2 types of objects. Standard objects are the one which have been provided by Salesforce. So the moment you created your developer edition, you already had that, right? So your account, contacts, opportunities, all these things. So you can either customize these things, or there are custom objects which you create, like let's say consultant object that we created, the payment object that we created. Campaign is a standard object, right? So customization here in standard object can just be something like adding a few fields, all right, or customizing a few fields. So for that you just have to go to setup, customize. You don't need to remember anything. You just need to remember these 2 things. If you are going to add a field on the standard object, you just need to go to setup, customize, and then select that object name, and then you will have to click on fields, and then you can just add new field there. Any standard object, account, contact, leads, campaigns, products, for everything this is applicable. All right. Yeah, Bhargav, can you please share your login ID password with me quickly, so that I can show the example on that. Bhargav or Nikhil, any one of you. Okay, thanks. Bhargav has already shared. Okay. So you just go to setup, customize, and then select the object name. Let's say opportunity, you want to create fields, just go to fields, and then you will have an option of creating a new field. Okay. Custom objects, if you are dealing with, then you should go to setup, create, and then go to objects and select the object that you want to add field into. Okay. So for custom object, it's sorry, setup, create, and then objects, and then you can select the object and then click on new fields. Okay. Okay, so this is pretty simple. Now the other stuff is customization of user interface. All right. So in Salesforce we have something called a page layout. Okay, so what is page layout? Page layout is for every record, for every object that we have in Salesforce, for every object there is a page layout. When you go to accounts, you click on any of the accounts, Let's say this Burlington Textile. When you open a record in a certain object, that record opens in on a page, right? So this is the page layout for account, right? The layout of the fields on the page, in the account detail page, correct? So this is called page layout, right? We have an option of customizing this page layout thing. How do we do that? For example, you want the type field to appear after the name. Parent account should go here, facts should come at the phone should come at the top. So layout of the page we can control. To change the layout of any page layout for any object, we just have to go to setup. Again, while you are talking about page layout, if you are talking about standard object, it is again the same process. Go to setup, and select the object name, and after that click on page layout. Okay, for custom object,
Sir, question.
yeah,
I think we can actually, set up the page layout accordingly from the, the page itself, right? There is a blue tab on the right hand side of the screen.
yeah, we can do that. Edit layout.
No, this one. There's an arrow mark, right? You see the Google Play on the top right corner. No.
Yeah.
Little bit down, yeah.
Yeah, so same edit layout. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is a shortcut to that, but usually we go from here, right? So for standard object, you will just go to setup, customize object name, page layout, and for custom object you can go to custom setup, create object, select the object, and edit the page layout. Right? So first of all, while you are changing the page layout, first thing that you will have to consider or you will have to understand is, are you talking about a standard object or you are talking about a custom object? The layout that you want to change is for standard or custom object, right? If it is standard object, then you have to go to setup customize. If it's a custom object, then you have to go to setup create, right? So let's say let me take this project manager app. No tabs here. Let me take recruitment app. I have a field called candidate here. I have a tab called candidates here. Select this, enter new candidate details. Okay. Now if I don't want the data to be displayed this way, I want experience to come this side, age to go on that side. Okay. Then what I need to do, I just need to go to setup, create objects. Why I'm going to create object? Because candidate is a custom object. So I'll find it here. This is something that I have created. And scroll down, you will see something called page layouts here. Just click on edit. And you can edit the layout of the page. I want age field to go this side. I want experience field to come this side. Right? So this is how we edit the page layout. Now why would we want to edit the page layout? Because of the ease or convenience of the end user. Now my end user wants to see certain fields. It may happen, right? You might have created a field at the end, but you want that field to display at the top. By default, what happens? The field that you created first appears at that first, at the top place. That way it goes. You might have created a field, towards the last of it, but that is a very important field. You want that to be displayed at the top. So page layout actually gives you that option. Okay. So let us quickly understand what all can we do with the page layout. Why do we need page layout and what can we do with the page layout? First thing, page layout gives you, allows you to edit the position of fields on the page. So which is pretty clear, which we have done and seen. Okay. It also allows you to hide a few fields. Okay, if there are certain fields which you want to hide, you don't want them to be displayed on the page, you can simply remove those fields. See? Or you can simply come to that field and click on this remove. The field will be removed. So sometimes it happens, right? You have created certain fields but you do not want to show them. This is more applicable in case of a standard object, because standard object by default come up with a set of fields, right? You don't want all those fields. Then you can remove some of the fields. Your end user says that, oh, see here are 50 fields are being displayed, I don't want to see all of them, I just need 5 or 6 because I find it very difficult to manage. So you can just simply go to the page layout, remove some of the fields. Okay, so you are not deleting any field here. Let me tell you, we are just hiding it, we are just removing it from the layout. In the backend database model it is there. Okay, so deleting field is not what we are doing here. And if you want to bring the field back, just drag and put it here. So it's just a drag and drop interface. You don't have to do anything. Got it? Okay. Third, what we can do with the page layout is we can make fields required or read only. So this page layout also allows you to make certain fields required or read only. So let's say if experience is a field, you want to make it mandatory. You just need to go to this field. There's another icon, properties. Click on this and you can make it required. So this will become a mandatory field. Or you can make it a read only field. Read only is something which people cannot edit. Okay. So page layout allows you to make field required or read only as well. Okay, so these are the advantages of page layout. Apart from this, what else do we do on a page layout? We can also set the position of related lists. What is a related list? Related list is the list of child records. Like for a job application is a related list, right? So under that job application, like I showed you yesterday, under the training program, attendees is a related list. Under account, contacts are the related list. For account, opportunities are the related list. So you can control the position of the related list. If you have more than one, in this case we just have one related list. But if you have more than one related list for an object, you can always go and control the position, which one should be at the top, which one should be at the bottom, and all that stuff. So that sort of thing can be done. Okay. But what we can do is we can definitely set the position of the related list. So if I have multiple related list for a certain object, I can decide which one should be displayed at the top and which one should be second in that case, right? So related list thing can be controlled. Secondly, what we can do for a related list is set what all fields we want to be displayed for related lists. So here your related list is only displaying one field, application name. Okay, you can go to the properties and show more fields from that. Created date, this. So if you want to show more fields on the related list, that can also be done. Alright, so this is also done from page layout. customer says that.
You mean while we are seeing the records?
Right. For example, for training program you have designed, you have the related list, but that related list only shows the name of the training attendee. You are not able to understand things. In that case, you might want to
No.
see the email ID also, and you will just go ahead and display the related email ID also for that attendee. Okay.
So instead of clicking on the name of the attendee, there itself it shows the whole.
It shows the, yeah. So 2 or 3 important
Okay.
fields, there itself it will show the details.
Sir, you mean to say next to the ID there will be the job, ID created
Creative date,
date and
phone
all?
number, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For example,
Okay, that's simple. Okay.
yeah. So for example, there is someone
That's
who before one day prior to the training program needs to call all the attendees and confirm that they are coming tomorrow or not. Now, this related list will have the list of people who are attending, right? But it just shows the name. Now your end user says that can you also display the phone numbers also parallel corresponding to this so that I can quickly call. I do not have to open each and every record. So that can be done. That becomes easy.
And those are editable?
Huh. So you can double click and edit it. Okay. So that is one thing that we can do from the page layout. And we can also hide the related lists.
Sir, what is editable, sir? Those are all coming from somewhere lookup, right?
Yeah, no, what she is saying that if there is a phone number which is being displayed here, whether they can edit the field there and then and there. So if you double click on that, that will be editable. Correct? You can make changes there. You can double click on that particular
And you
field.
can make changes even there, right? Once they appear in the object?
Yeah, that too we can definitely do. But in the related list also you can double click and edit. Alright. So this part is okay. We are clear with this. Okay. Now,
So can you repeat the second point once again?
just give me 1 second. I'm not the only one having cold here. I think there are some other people having cold. Yeah. So what was the question? Can you please repeat? What was it?
So there is something like hiding the blanks and all, right?
No, no, hiding the
Second point.
related list. Sorry, not blanks. It's hiding the related list. So, for example, for an object you have certain related list and you do not want to show the related list. For example, I don't want to show the job application. So you can simply go and remove.
No, not that, sir. Not that. The second point. Allows you to hide a few
Actually, this
fields.
point. Hide few fields, the fields that you do not want to see on the page layout, you can remove it. Fields of the object that you do not want to see, you can just go ahead and make it, remove it from here. So that it does not
So
appear
we
on
are
the page.
technically deleting the field from the object.
No, we are hiding.
No, just hiding. Okay.
Fine. We are putting it at the backstage.
But
Correct?
you can delete it.
You can, I mean, depends upon your requirement. Okay. You can delete or you can just, for example, you have a certain field which is automatically, automatically calculating some, certain value which you need internally, but you don't want your end users to see. Correct. You can simply go and hide it from the end user. They will not see. Age, for example. Now the employees do not want the HR person to see their age, but technically they want to store it. So just hide the field. Don't delete the field. If you delete the field, data will be lost. If you hide it, then the data will be there. Data will not be visible.
But we can actually, do that using the security controls, right?
Yeah, we can do that using security controls as well. So that is one option of doing this, and this is also an option of doing the same thing. Alright, now we have understood what all things we do with page layout. Now, the biggest advantage of page layout, so these are all things which we can do with the page layout. So one advantage of page layout that we can control all these things. The other big advantage of a page layout is we can have different page layouts for different profiles. Alright, so what we can do is we can have different page layouts for different profiles. What is the different page layout for different profiles? For some profile I can have a different page layout, for other profiles I can have a different page layout. Got it? Let's say for manager I want a different page layout. Manager needs to see certain fields in a certain fashion. A sales guy wants to see, for example, let's take a simple example. There is a sales profile and there is a customer support profile. Sales guy wants to see the contacts at the top because he is just bothered about the contacts. What all contacts are there, phone numbers and all that stuff. Customer support guy is more interested in looking into the cases at the top. And they say, both of them say that no, I want to see contacts first, and the customer support guy says I want to see cases first. Let's have two different page layouts. So one can be used by the sales people, the other can be used by the customer support people. Correct? So before I get into that part, I'll just save this page layout. So whatever changes you made on the page layout, you need to make sure you save it before you leave this page. Then only those changes will be reflected on the actual page. Now, in the page layouts where we earlier went and edited the page layout, so whenever you create a custom object, by default it creates a page layout for you. By default, first page layout is created by default, so you don't have to do anything. If you need more page layouts, you can simply go and create them. Just need to go and click on new, create the page layout. Okay, you can clone it from the existing one and you can give it a name. Sales layout. Save it. And design it as per the requirement. Okay. So you can have multiple page layouts for the same object. So in this you can have the age this side and experience this side. Whatever the changes you do. So once you have multiple page layouts, it becomes very simple for you to assign the page layouts to the profile. So here you have another button called page layout assignment. So you just need to click on this and make the assign the page layout to the profile. Which page layout is applicable to which profile? Got it? Click on edit assignment. So let's say for the sales profile, where is the sales profile? Yeah, custom sales profile. I want to change this layout to the sales page layout. Changed. For marketing user also, I want them to have sales layout. So you can change it. Alright. So who will get to see what page layout? That depends on their profile, and that depends on you how you have set it up. Clear? So that's the basic about the page layout thing. So page layout advantage, we can have different page layouts set for different people. That is again not something that you always have to do. A lot of requirements you just manage with the same page layout for all the profiles. But if required, you can have that thing, and you can edit the position of the field. You can make certain fields invisible on the page layout. You can make fields required or read only. And you can also deal with the related list. So you can hide the related list, you can set the position of the related list, and you can also set the properties of the related list, which is basically nothing but controlling the fields which are available under a certain related list. Alright, so that is about the page layout thing. Tell me if anyone has any question on this.
Why did it take for all the things as candidate layout?
By default, because that was the first layout which was created, right? So as I told you, the moment you create a custom object, Salesforce by default creates a page layout, and that is assigned to everything. So that was there by default. Now if you want to change it, you can go ahead and change it. Change it for everything. Correct? Okay. Apart from this, do we have any other questions? We understand this page layout concept. Okay, good. Now there is one more concept that I want you guys to understand, which is related to this page layout concept, but not exactly the page layout concept. Making a field required. So we saw that we have an option of making a field required through the page layout. Alright, we have seen that. We also have an option of making a field required while we create the field. At the time of creating the field, we have seen that there is an option of making field required. If I am creating a new field in candidate, let's say I'm on candidate and I create a new field. Let's say it's a text field. We have an option of making the field required here as well, right? Always require a value for this field. Okay. So here also we can make a field required while creating it. And we also have an option of making a field required on the page layout. Right? Now what is the difference between making a field required while you are creating the field and the one which we are doing while on the page layout? Okay. So when you make a
Over
field
there, sir, over there, if you give it as required, it is definitely required.
Yes.
And over here,
yes, absolutely correct. So this is called universally required. So once you have made a field required while creating it, it becomes universally required. What is universally required? That it will always be required, no matter which page layout that field is in. No matter the data is being entered from a page layout or it is being entered from the backend or whatever. But if we are talking about a field required on page layout, that required condition is applicable only on that page layout, right? So if you made a field required on page layout 1, that will not automatically become required on page layout 2, correct? But something which is universally required is always required. Got that? This concept is clear. So whenever you have some field where you feel that no, we cannot manage with this data, then it has to be a universally required field. Don't make it a required on the page layout, because then there will be options of entering the data. For example, let me give you one example. There is this company which is their sales process is very simple. They initially send emails. They have some 18 million records in their database, and they start sending emails. They do email marketing, and once they get some sort of response from the client, they then call those people. All right. So the first step for them to contact the customer or to contact the leads is email, right? So they do not need any record in their database, because any record which does not have an email ID is waste. That's useless. So for them, email is a required field. So in that case, they need it to be universally required, because without email, it does not make at all any sense for them to have that record in the database. That will never be used. Okay. So this can be one requirement. But think about another situation. If there is a company and they just want email field to be required when, let's say, when the sales guy is entering, the email field should be mandatory, so that he asks the email ID from the customer and he enters it. But if the manager is entering, even if it does not enter, it is okay. So in the second scenario, what we are doing, we are actually having the field required for some people in the company and not required for some people, right? So sales people, when they are entering the data, it should not be required. It should be required, and the manager, when he is entering, I don't want this to be required. Manager has that liberty to keep that field blank. That kind of situation, then you should deal with the page layout, because if you make it universally required, then it will always be required. Got it? So this is one thing we have understood. Anyone has a question on this concept? Anyone who is not able to understand this? Pretty simple, right? There is one more difference with universally required and required on page layout. Think of it when you are doing a bulk upload of the data, when we are entering the data into the system from the backend, uploading a file. So when I am uploading the file from the backend, at that time there is no page layout which is being used, right? Page layout is being used only when I am entering the data manually. When I click on this tab and then go on new, then only I get to see the page layout, right? But if there is a backend data upload which is happening, someone is trying to import the data, in that the page layout is not being used, right? So any field which you have made required on the page layout, that will not be required while you are doing a bulk upload. Okay, that will not affect your bulk upload. Let's say you have made email field required on the page layout. Now if you are trying to do an import and your data does not have email field, there is no problem. It will still be uploaded. But if you have made email field as a universally required, then those records which do not have email fields, they will throw error. They will not be imported. Again, that is also pretty simple logic because bulk upload is not using any page layout, so it gets through that thing. It does not throw any error. But because this is universally required, it is a field which is universally required is also required when you are putting data from the backend. Got it? So these two concepts are clear on making field required. So this is something that you will use very commonly whenever you are asked to make a field required on a certain data model or for any application. This is a concept that you will have to regularly use. That will be required to work on this and think about this, that whether I need it as a universally required field or I need it just on the page layout for some users and all that stuff. Got it? Okay. And one good practice for you people is don't make too many fields required for any database in this world. Don't make too many fields required. If you make too many fields required, your end users will start avoiding entering the data into the database. They will start maintaining data into the Excel spreadsheet. So it's not a very good practice to include too many required fields, be it through page layout or through this thing. Universally required. If we put too many restrictions, then what will happen? Our end users, the biggest challenge, that is again something that I'm sharing out of my experience. The biggest challenge that the companies face is they can have the best application in the world, but getting their sales people and the customer support people to start using this application is a big challenge for them. Right? You cannot fire all your sales people because they are not using Salesforce. You cannot force them because they are the people who are bringing revenue. But they are just not comfortable with the application which are being designed. They do not want to put. Think about yourself. If I ask you that, okay, fine, you have to enter all your details into this thing every day, into something like a Salesforce, you would be, initially you will be reluctant till the time you do not get used to it. You will never, start using it upfront. But at the same time, you would prefer writing it in a notepad or maybe, putting the information in an Excel spreadsheet. Because you can manage it. Excel spreadsheet you quickly open and then you put your data and information that okay, this is what I did and all that stuff. But the problem for the company is you can manage it because you are just bothered about your information. The problem with the company is that they are not just bothered about one sales people. They might have 100 sales guys. Same way, maintaining different Excel sheets. So to make sure that people are using this Salesforce application and they are getting used to it, we always need to make sure that we do not make too many fields required, or we do not put too many conditions and criteria and all that stuff, because more obstacles you put, more they will start avoiding it. Okay, so that is just off the line. That's got nothing to do with the technical stuff, but of functional understanding for you guys. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions here, any doubts, questions, queries with the page layout stuff. All right. Now, what we have understood here is the customization of the user interface through the page layout. There is a lot more which we can do with the user interface. Okay, but for that we need programming to come into picture. With this drag and drop option, this is what is possible. Okay, if we want to do more, like if you want to change the background color, you want to bring in your own images, logos, hyperlinks, everything can be done, but that is possible with the programming. So that is something that we'll do after a few sessions once we move into the visual force. Okay, so advanced level of customization on the user interface can be done using visual force, but it's again not for every requirement you jump into visual force. You might be a
So that's the coding part, right?
yeah, that's the coding part. So you might be a good programmer, but you do not start writing program for everything. So whenever we are required to do any sort of customization on the user interface, first thing that you should consider is go back to the page layout, see what can be done using page layout. Till the time you are able to manage things with the page layout, do not create a visual force page. So this is something that we will discuss during visual force page also. So let's not get into that as of now. But just for your understanding, right? So if you're thinking that if we do have that coding side and we can do advanced customization, why do we have page layout? We have page layout because it's easy to control. Everyone in the company can control it. So you can train your administrators also to take care of these page layout arrangements and all that stuff. You don't necessarily need to have a developer. A lot of companies start using Salesforce just as end users. So how many companies do have developers in their team? Most of them just purchase licenses and they start using it, right? So those companies do not have someone who can actually develop the pages and write codes. So they manage things with the page layout stuff. And even if you become a developer, our first job is to consider these options before we start writing any code or anything. We start designing the programming pages and visual force pages and all that stuff, right? Okay. Apart from this, there are a few more things on the customization of UI which we'll discuss. One is view. Okay. So the other thing is that for every object you must have seen some view. This time let me go to some standard object because we have some data there. So if you click on any tab, you will see an option of view. What is this view? View is basically a view of list of records. Okay, which all records you want to see in the list. So we have by default some of the views available, all accounts, my accounts, new last week, new this week. We can edit these views, let's say all accounts. Click on go. Alright, so we can go and edit this view. Alright. For example, I want to see the website of the company here. Instead of account site, I want to see the website. So I can simply go click on edit and control which all fields I want to see on the view. I want to see the account name, and let's say the city, website, type, whatever you want. Phone, employees, and make it just click on save. So as simple as that. See, name, city, website, type, phone, employees. Okay, so this is something which can be done on view. Alright, and you can also create your own views. Alright, let's say I just want to see all the accounts where the type equals to customer direct. So I'll just go and click on create new view, give it a name, customer direct accounts, and you put the condition here. Condition is optional, but here I need the condition, so I need a condition where type equals customer direct, and set selected. What all fields you want to see? I just want website, billing state I do not need, account name I need, industry I need. Let me put it this way, save it. Correct. So now I've just created a new view which is called customer direct accounts. So in case I have people who specifically want to look into a certain set of data, page layout was for individual records. This is for set of data, right? So my end users want to see certain set of data based on some condition. I can create views. All right. Let's say again let's go back to our application that we were designing, that training application. Let's say your company has decided, you are in that company, the training institute, it's a training company. They are doing a training on Java in March, and the salespeople want to call everyone who has shown interest in Java training program. So they can simply create a view for the end users for Java, for other technologies also. So they can quickly look into that data, click on that view, look into that data, and start doing the calls. Now you have all the phone numbers here. You can start doing the calls. Got it? So this view is another important step that we have. Okay. So while you create a view or you edit a view, there is an option which says, so in the view you don't have to deal with too many things. You just have to deal with 3 things. One, name. Second, is there a filter condition that you want to put? Third, the fields that you are you want to display on the view, right? The fields that you want to display in the list. 3 things, 1, 2, 3. There's one more thing which basically defines the visibility of the view. So a view that you are creating is for yourself or it is for everyone in the company. Sometimes you as an end user can create a view for yourself. So this is not a job of a developer as such. Individual users can also do it based on their requirement. Okay. So while they are creating the view, you are asked about this option, restrict visibility, visible only to me. So you can create your own views as an end user. You can create your own views the way you want to see the data. You can just click on that and create it, and this will only be visible to you. Okay, or you can make it visible to all users. Okay, so you have 2 options: either you make it visible to yourself or you make it visible to everyone in the company. Okay, and third
So
option.
do you mean to say, like, this view portion, even the end user can do it himself by coming here?
Yes, end user can actually just go and click on and edit, but he just needs to make sure that he's restricting the visibility only to himself, right? So for example, I have created a view to see a Canada accounts. That is, there are 50 different people. They have created their own views for their own countries, same organization. If everyone starts putting it visible to everyone, then what will happen? Everyone's list will become grow longer. So sometimes you can instruct your people that if you want to create a view for yourself, this is just viewing the data the way you want, right? So you can tell them that if you want to create a view, please go ahead and create it only for yourself, make it visible only to yourself. Don't create it.
Yeah, like, a sales agent cannot even do that for everyone, right? He can modify his own screen the way he wants. I mean, are we talking about the user who is the agent or else who is the admin?
No, I am talking about, so your sales user can also do it. So I'm not talking about admin only, I'm talking about sales user also.
Yeah, but he will not be able to do it for all, right? I mean, that option only we will not give them.
I mean, see, yeah, as an administrator, you should not give him that option that he is able to allow it for everyone. But if he has permissions, he can do that. Okay.
Oh, really?
So it's all, see, basically there is nothing called a sales user or something. It's all dependent on the profile and the permission that you get through your profile, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A possibility that a sales user may have that option and he might do it. But if the permissions are controlled, then we will not have that option. Okay.
Got it.
Alright.
Please continue.
So that's about the view. So now view is mostly used for controlling the list of data that we want to see, and page layout is more related to a single record. This page layout is often called the detail page also. Detail page of the record, right? So detail page is basically where you see one record in detail, and view is where we can see multiple records, a list of records from a certain object. So every object, standard or custom, does have a view option. So for leads, for accounts, for contacts. Let's say you have created campaigns. Now you just want to create a view of all the campaigns in the current month. So you can create a view for that. That's our thing, right? So that is one thing. The other thing that we are going to talk about is one more thing that comes to mind is Ravali had one question that her candidate object appears in all the apps. That is what you were saying, Ravali?
Yeah.
So how should we?
Now after creating the training application, in that it is not being seen, but all in the rest of all the things it is being seen.
So what is the problem? I want someone else to answer this question. Basically, she finds some custom tab that she has created that is being displayed on all the apps, and she does not want to see it under all the apps. So can someone help her?
While creating the tab itself, I mean, she has to uncheck few of them. Like, she needs to select where it needs to be going.
Yeah, but I've already given that. So now how do
So I've
I
already done that. No?
rectify? How do I rectify?
So now
Okay. Go back again.
go back where?
Go back where and how?
Go back to the tabs. I mean, that custom tab, and create.
Yeah. So where is your tab? Go back to that tab. If you have to modify anything, you're talking about the customization or modification, right, Ravali? So if I have to
Yeah.
modify, where will I have to go? First of all, I'll have to go hunting for that tab, where that tab is sitting. Where is that tab? Where is the tab that you have created? Where would we find the tab?
This one. Create.
Yes. So go to create. Under create, then where do we go? So whatever we have to customize, first of all, try to reach there. See, whatever is there in Salesforce,
Tab.
while we are talking about objects, fields, tabs, apps, whatever, either it has to be a part of customize or it has to be a part of create. Anything that we have created will be available under create. So these are two places where you will find everything. Okay. Now whatever customization is possible, either can be done, cannot be done. That is something which you will come here and find out. So create tabs.
Yeah.
Now which tab are we talking about? Candidate tab.
I went till there. After that I didn't understand what to do.
1 second. You find it?
Okay.
It also does not allow us. Okay.
I came till here. There is no other option here.
Sir, I got the situation. I know how I did it. I mean, 1 minute. Sir, come down, sir. Can you click on the object candidate, sir?
Sir, I think we can make it to profile.
No.
I came till here also. I went on the object also.
Okay.
Something
So now,
with the visibility.
okay.
I don't want.
Okay, fine. So now it is not available. So there is no option from here to control the visibility of the tab on the app. So what is the other way that I should approach?
So can we control it to profile?
Why profile? Profile is not included. We are talking about tab and app.
Actually, we have I think.
You can go into the app actually.
Right. So now if I am not able to control from here, then I should go into the apps. My ultimate goal is to remove the tab from the app, right? So let me go to the app,
Yeah.
go to a certain app and remove it. Let's say candidate is on job recruiting. So if I go to the app, there I will have an option to remove it. Correct. Yeah. So here you can go and remove it. So Once you have created, then you might need to go to your specific apps and remove that tab. Simple. Remove the candidate tab.
Oh. Okay, just click on remove and it goes onto the left side and then save it.
Yeah, just put it on the left side and save it. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sir, why does it always ask for an aeroplane or else a desk or something, sir, while creating a tab? I mean, the
That's
page
just
layout.
a-
I mean, it is a default option.
Yeah, that's just a tab icon for the record, which makes your things look a little better. For example, campaigns. So this icon appears. Whatever icon you have selected for leads, if you see, there's a different icon. So this icon appears. So just give it a certain look and feel. That's it. And it's a mandatory.
So
thing.
Salesforce, yeah, made it a mandatory thing. It is, it does not make sense because it's, yeah.
Yeah. But if you look into this from the end user perspective, or from the UI side of it, or the look and feel part of it, you'll see that everything has a different tab color and a different icon. Okay, so to some extent, this gives some sort of life to your user interface also. It does not look that boring and all that stuff. Like you have an icon here available and all that stuff. So that sort of thing. I mean, technically speaking, not very important, but some end users might be pretty happy with this sort of stuff. So that is how it is.
Okay, sir.
All right. So we have talked about the different things about customization.